I am so stoked this came early. This is the metal frame for the elephant desk. The wood frame came about 2 days ago. So, time to unbox this and get this going. I have been working from home for about 10 years now, and in that time period I've had 3 different standing desks. Now the first one is one from IKEA. I bought that on a whim. I literally was at IKEA and just saw it and said, hey, I have a crappy desk. I just want this one. I just need a standing desk for once. You know, this is like 2 years in to starting to work from home 10 years ago or whatever it was. And it was good for the time being. I mean, it was my first standing desk. It was nice, but then I had to get rid of it because it felt cheap. I just didn't like the shape of it. The crank was really slow. It sounded like it was gonna break after a year, you know? And yeah, it was cheap quality because it was from IKEA. I hate to say it, you know, but second desk was a Foley desk. Now they are being sold through a different company. I think it's Herman Miller or something. But at the time when it was just Foley, I still have it. I'll show some B-roll here. It's a good desk. I just don't like the shape of it anymore. I mean, I don't mind that it's a crank desk too, but after getting my third desk, which is the one I'm reviewing today from Elephant Desk, they were more than generous enough to send this to me for me asking and reaching out to them. This Abundance Series desk, the shape, the dimensions, everything I'm gonna do with the weight test, the noise test, everything. Even though it's my first electronic desk, it's incredible. This power standing electric desk is beyond what, I mean, it really exceeded my expectations. And I give this intro to say, especially for those of you who are looking for a desk, who are new to this working from home thing, let's say, you got to invest in a good desk. And just right off the bat, this is the best desk I've ever used. And yes, I know that sounds completely biased to say, oh, it's the best desk I've ever used, but it really is. After paying for 2 other desks, even though I was gifted this for free, my number one thing I do love about this one is how it looks in my office. It looks clean. I don't even consider this a great desk for working from home. I feel like this being in your real estate office, or if you're a gamer, or if you need this in any office at all, whether corporate or just at home, it looks universal for everything because it's hard to find desks that have that luxurious look to them, where you know there's quality right off the bat. And as you saw with, and as you will see in other videos of me doing the unboxing and putting it together, was super easy. It took me only about 20-30 minutes, and that was me teeter-tottering and just messing around, listening to a podcast, getting a drink of water in between, and I put it together really quickly. I only messed up on putting the wrong screws in at first. I put ones that were too big in when I was setting it up, as you'll see, so that's the only mistake I made, but other than that, it still was really easy to put together. So in getting into the specs, there's 3 different types of desks that they have that are standing. They have the Abundance Series, which is this style that I have. They have the Wavy Series and the Coastline Series. So this exact one, its starting price as of now while there's a sale is $8.99. I mean, you can finance it if you want, but I got the ash material. That's the wood. It is solid wood with flat edges, and it's 60-inch by 27-inch. And the white frame. Now there's 11 to 14 slabs of ash, of North American ash, to put this together. So it is very dense and it is heavy. It's the heaviest desk that I've used, which is a good thing because it's telling me it's going to last. Now, let me show you a coffee spill test. I go to the coffee shop anyway, so let's go ahead and do it. So I'll do it in a spot that's a little more inconspicuous in the corner. Whoops, oh darn, oh dang. Gonna have a bad day now. So I'll go ahead and leave that for about a minute. All right, it's literally been a minute. I know that's hard to tell from an edited video, but let's go ahead and clean this up now. So it hasn't really moved at all. It's probably because of how well balanced the desk is, but let me just wipe it up and see if there's any. I'll even press it in a little bit. And this is just a slightly damp towel. It's not all the way dry. Of course, just like I expected, there's not any mess or stain left behind. And the reason why I show that is because it is a matte finish and I don't drink wine. So I did that test 3 different times, a minute of leaving the hot coffee on the desk. And no matter where I tested it, there's not one stain on this desk. So I don't know if you want to see what wine can do, or I mean, you would have to spill turmeric powder, because if you cook like I do a lot, turmeric powder stains anything. All right, as I'm putting this desk together, one of the things I'm a little worried about is the tape that you put onto the power adapter. But I think with this full review over time, after using it for a week or at least a few days, it should be fine. But that's the only thing that was making me nervous about putting this together. Is I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's not a heavy brick, but still, I mean, after like a year, what if it starts coming undone? It's like, I hope it doesn't become a problem. But otherwise, this has been easy to set up. All right, so actually now that I have the legs fully on, before flipping this over, one thing I did realize is the Velcro actually is pretty stuck on there. I mean, you'd have to really pull it to make it fall off. So I think it's gonna last for a while. I like these little zip tie things that stick to it so you don't damage the wood. This I messed up on right here, the controller, because you can screw it in. The instruction manual said, yeah, just screw it in. You know, you don't have to really worry about drilling a hole or anything, but I drilled it in crooked, so I might have to redo that, but you can only do that so many times. That's the only flaw with putting it together, is I wish they had pre-drilled holes for that part. It just would have been more accurate. You wouldn't have to worry about damaging the wood too much. Other than that, this was put together pretty quickly, and I pretty much took my time. So I'm gonna flip it over and see what it looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like in the living room. It's a really big desk. I ordered the 60-inch one. And yeah, hopefully I put everything together right. I'll probably have to redo the cable management. It's not hanging too bad. Now, I know a lot of people are also going to be curious about the weight of sitting on it. So I weigh about 168 last time I checked, like a month or two ago. So maybe I weigh like 170 now. I'm pretty skinny. I'm not that heavy. So let's just say I weigh 168 still. I'm not hearing anything. Like even when I'm going like this, just wobbling. I mean, sure, you're not gonna hear it. I mean, I'll even grab my microphone and you're not hearing any creaks or nothing. There's nothing at all when I'm just wobbling, even when I move around. It's pretty dang ridiculous. I mean, actually, I don't like using that word. Ridiculous is not a good word for describing the quality of a well-built product. It's phenomenal. I love how well this thing is built. And out of all the desks I've had, I'll say even with just that sitting test, this is the strongest built desk I've ever had. All right, desk is empty, and what we're gonna do in this test is see how long it takes to rise and fall when it's empty and when there's weight on it. I'm gonna use my kettlebells, it's about 80 pounds. So let's go ahead and just do it with the program, setting it to 1, which is the standing height I like. So 1, 2, 3. I might be a few milliseconds off, you know, but still. So that took 13 seconds, like 12 point something, almost exactly 13 seconds. Now let's go ahead and do it all the way down. 1, 2, 3. I'm just curious to see if it's the same for rising and for falling, especially with the weight. Okay, that was like spot on the exact same time. Let me get some weights and we'll go ahead and do that. All right, I have 2 kettlebells now. That's one 40-pound kettlebell. And then the second one I got right over here. I'm gonna, of course, put them in the center so the weight distribution is right under the motor. It's just even as possible. Maybe not exactly, but still. So let's do the same test with 80 pounds of weight on. 1, 2, 3. Wow, this is my first time doing it and it had like 0 effect. Let's see. The exact same time, that's crazy. All right, so I weigh 170 pounds. That was with an 80-pound test. Obviously, I'm not that heavy, but with the fact that this can handle 300 pounds, let's just see if it can handle me. You know what I'm saying? So, God, that sounded weird. Dang. Wow, that is just lifting me like nothing. And like I said, I don't weigh 300 pounds. I'm not the threshold of what this can do. But I think that's a good enough test. So if it can handle me sitting on it like nothing, only weighing 170 pounds, I get it. That's pretty dang impressive. I want to mention something about using a mouse on this desk. Now, I have this older Logitech Lift mouse, and it really did show on my Fully desk pretty well after months of using it, about 6 to 8 months of using it on there. So it's going to take some time before I'm going to realize anything. You know what I mean? It's going to take probably a few months until I realize any significant damage, especially if I'm using this in multiple spots. But for now, it feels really smooth. It doesn't feel like this is made out of cheap laminate. There's not a coating on it that's affecting the way, how natural the mouse feels when I'm using it. And I haven't noticed any markings in the past week of using this. Even if I really try hard and try to scrape it, there's just nothing showing up. So for me, I think for the long run, it's probably gonna take about a year or so before I start noticing some markings, because it took about only like a month on my Foley desk before I noticed markings. But this, I feel like it's gonna be a different story. Overall, what I think about this desk is I really love the company and their standards and how fast they shipped it to me, even though I don't live close by, but I'm only a state away. But the customer service is very responsive. I love communicating with them. Everything about my experience with this company is amazing. And I think it's great that we have to support more small businesses like this instead of corporations and all the companies that at the end of the day, even if you get something cheaper, it's not, you're going to feel cheap because you bought it. I mean, I bought 2 cheap desks in the past and this is the best feeling one. I feel the most confident. I feel good with it. When I sent the photo to my friends and I said, what do you think about this? They all loved it. They're like, what the heck is that? What kind of desk is that? It's very minimalistic too. So overall, I am very grateful they sent me this. Like, I truly am, especially for the price. It just makes me feel so much better working from home. So overall, those are my thoughts on this review. Please let me know if you have any questions. It can be, you know, we're talking about a standing desk here, so I didn't want to make it more than what it was on the review. You know, there's only so much you can cover. But if you do have any other questions, just please let me know. I'll absolutely have the link. I'm not affiliated. I don't get paid for you to buy a desk from them. The generosity of them giving me one was payment enough. So I hope you're doing well, and I'll just see you guys on the next one.